crazy weather day.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop the outdoor film festival, does it?
Absolutely not. No,
it
we
just
head outside no matter what.
It just makes it circumstantial in how and which you're going to tackle those elements, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say the last time that we were here or talking about this, I was talking with David Alston and Jordan Owens, and we were just talking about, the importance of getting outside, work-life balance, mental health, maybe getting outside when you don't feel like it. And, just prioritizing self-care is really a big part and a big kind of mission about, the film festival in itself. And I'm really excited to talk to Brooke today, who is your guest that will be coming on and talking to y'all. If you're listening or watching, really pumped to be talking about Brooke. You want to give us a little lead up as to who Brooke might be?
Absolutely. A friend of mine, she's an avid rock climber, photographer, filmmaker. She actually submitted a film to our first inaugural OOFF in 2022, her film called Moments in Time, which actually speaks to mental health and the effects that nature and being outside can have on your mental health in a huge way. So really looking forward to talking to her a bit about that. And she's also a helicopter pilot.
Like, are you serious?
Insane.
A helicopter pilot? Oh my God, a woman after my heart. Oh my goodness.
So if you want a little spontaneity, a little pizzazz in your life,
a little bit of spice.
Yeah, a little bit of spice. You want Brooke in your life.
Well, I'm really excited to talk with her because obviously as someone who's out and adventuring and literally having a pretty adrenaline-fueled job, it'll be exciting to kind of chat with her about, the process for her in creating and making as well as adventuring and then having it be part of her job. A lot of us, I think, leave our jobs to get outside to, maybe get that little bit of a rush or a little bit of a moment away. But I think she must just be fully immersed, like all the time.
Yeah.
Just always adrenaline, just like chaos, eh?
Yeah. Well, it's more of, if there's something to be enjoyed about life, especially in nature, especially outdoors, she'll find it. She'll find that opportunity and take it and
what
be
a
immersed
beautiful
in the
thing to
outdoors.
say about someone.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really nice. I'm sure she'll appreciate you saying that, but that's just a very kind thing to say about somebody.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Well, if you're listening or watching, we're going to be calling Brooke up in a couple minutes. But before we do that, I just want to talk to you a little bit about how you can get involved, where it is being shown, how you can be part of the festival itself. Carlie, why don't you tell us a little bit about where the films will be shown this year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, technically next, but
next. So next up, a film festival that we've been a part of bringing to St. John, the Banff Center Mountain Film Festival, is a world tour, and we're actually bringing it to the Imperial on January 18th. And the Banff Center Mountain Film Festival is a big part of what inspired the Outdoor Film Festival that we put on in St. John closer to the summer.
And what a beautiful place. I know that I live in St. John, so it probably sounds biased, but Imperial Theatre is a beautiful, beautiful, legendary, and iconic venue.
Absolutely.
The improvements, the accessibility, and this isn't just a plug for Imperial Theatre. It's an amazing place to go. And I remember years back, probably 6 or 7 years ago, going to one of the Banff Film Festivals with Greg Hemmings, and he invited me there, and I was helping kind of work one of the tables, and it was great. I was there with his daughters, and we had watched some of the films, and I just remember being like really inspired about how people were making and creating. And you think, films are like an hour and a half, but it was amazing to kind of see these short films be able to tell such a big story. And actually, it was seeing those and working with Greg that really helped me kind of figure out what I do for a business. And I remember his advice. And whether it's a film about rock climbing or about slacklining or about saving the environment, he said, as long as a 5-year-old can explain it back to you, you're good. And I think that when you're watching these films, any of them that I've seen in the past or that I've been able to maybe judge proactively as someone sitting on the panel, it's really quite amazing to kind of watch what people are putting together and how they're using technology and their creative bandwidth and tools, whether it be their phones, GoPros, drones, VHS, like handy cams. They're using so many formats. So it's been really inspiring from a marketing perspective too to watch it. So I don't know, whether you're in filmmaking, whether you go out rock climbing, whether you're into the outdoors or not, it's a really great way to go out and see what people are doing. I learned probably about 4 new recreational things that were happening just around our region that I had no idea that were happening just by doing the last podcast.
Oh, amazing.
Right? Just about how people are really accessing the region, like the back gravel roads, things like that. It was just really, really it makes you remind yourself where you're at and how you can
Totally.
use that, and how lucky we are to kind of have such an amazing like playground, honestly.
We are so fortunate to be where we are and to be able to step outside our back door and get outside in nature. Not everyone has that.
True.
You know, in some areas of our country or other countries, you know, you need to take a bus or a long drive, but really here in New Brunswick, we're super fortunate to be so close to nature.
And with going to the Imperial Theatre, are there tickets? Can you buy them at Imperial Theatre? Do you do them through your website? How do you?
All of the above.
All of the above. Buy the tickets.
Buy them all.
tickies.
Yeah. So on the Imperial website, you can call the Imperial Theatre if that's your thing. The OOFF.ca or OOFF.ca is our website. You can find them there. You can find them on the our Instagram bio, Facebook. Anywhere you find OOFF, you can find those.
We can find them.
Tickets.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to it, and let's call helicopter pilot and superstar Brooke. Are you guys ready? Here we go. We are calling Brooke. Oh my goodness. Let's see. All right. You want to type in her number there, and we'll see if it works, guys. The old technology. The old technology.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk to Brooke. I don't know many helicopter pilots. Do you? Because that's pretty cool. What a crazy job in the best of ways, right? Like what a crazy job.
Yeah, insane.
Oh my God, is she gonna answer?
Hello, this is Brooke.
Oh my goodness, Brooke. Hi, it's Cait and Carlie. How are you?
Hi, girls. Good. How are you guys?
You answer. It's like we didn't know you were calling.
That's all right. Brooke was like, "Do I say hello? Do I say my name?"
You can say whatever you want. You can say
Yeah.
whatever you want. You're the coolest person ever. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Where are you located right now?
I'm currently in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Okay, perfect. I wasn't sure if you were like maybe in a different time zone and you just were so excited you joined us really early.
That's always possible.
Wouldn't be unlikely. Yeah.
Well, Brooke, tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, what you do for work, and what makes you such a big outdoor lover, basically.
Well, so I guess in the winters more recently, I've been supply teaching to kind of fill in some time. And then in the summers, I go out west and fight wildfires with a helicopter. I'm a pilot.
That's the coolest thing ever.
And yeah, I get that a lot. I think every job seems is very easy to admire from the outside, right?
100%.
But,
Yeah, it's probably very daunting and scary, and it's probably, you know, a lot of different variables for sure.
I would say it's challenging. I wouldn't say I find it daunting and scary, or else I don't think I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely comes with its challenges, especially after a busy summer like this past summer with all the wildfires that plagued Canada this year. So yeah, it definitely has its challenges, one of them being fatigue and things like that. And to answer your other question about the outdoors, I guess it's been instilled in me since a very early age to just embrace nature and just love being outdoors and exploring. I was always taken camping as a kid in the woods. My dad liked to hunt, and my sister and I liked to tell each other ghost stories and pretend to get lost in the woods, and we kind of had the freedom to do that. So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that, like, you know, it definitely, I have similar stories, you know, growing up as a kid. My grandparents, they had built a roundhouse out in St. Martin's, and they had a lot of land in the back. And my grandfather also was out like all the time, four-wheeling, hunting. And it just, as an only child for a really long time and an only grandchild, I was always exploring like the forest and doing different things. And I don't know, when you go back to that, when you're going for walks as an adult, or, you know, you're trying to do a little bit of self-care, it really brings you back. And I think it reminds you of what's important. And I think a big part that I've learned, even just kind of being, talking a little bit about being outdoors, is just getting out there. That's the biggest part. It doesn't matter what you know, maybe want to accomplish by being out there, but I think just getting out helps you maybe find that. And it's been really inspiring watching, you know, the films that have been submitted and created, And I was telling Carlie before we called you, I've found new ways that people are accessing the region, Atlantic Canada, North America as a whole, that I had no idea that were being used. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, no, that is really special, like you said, about being outdoors and in nature. It doesn't matter if you're 1 or 91, like there's a space for everyone in nature, and there's something that you can do and discover while you're out there. So pretty amazing.
What is something that you can share with us without giving it too much away? Maybe one of your favorite things to do in the Atlantic region. You don't have to tell us your secret spots or anything. Don't worry. I won't dig too deep.
No, totally fine. I definitely, one of my favorite things to do is rock climb. I spend a lot of my time rock climbing, dreaming about rock climbing, planning trips to go climbing. rock climbing is sort of an obsession of mine. And another one is my dog Chia. Mm-hmm. So I'm always out in the woods with her, and she likes to explore just as much as I do. So that's perfect.
What kind of dog is Tia?
She's a German short-haired pointer.
Oh,
so she's got a lot of energy.
Just a baby. Oh my goodness, that's precious. And she likes being outside like you, eh?
She loves it. We've dragged her out since she was 4 pounds, a little tiny wee thing that used to fit in one hand. And back then, making it to the crag was too much. And by the end of it, she'd have to get put in my backpack and carried up to the cliff the rest of the way. And now she does every approach 10 times that I would do once, because she's running back and forth so many times.
Oh my goodness.
Puts a lot of kilometers on that dog.
Perfect dog for your lifestyle, I would say. Just kind of goes everywhere you go and then some.
Yeah, she never says no matter how cold it is and how much it's raining. When everyone else tells me no, she's still like, okay, where are we going? What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And Brooke, you mentioned rock climbing trips. I heard you potentially have one coming up.
Yes, I do, actually.
You want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to connect with a few friends in Greece and get some climbing on when it's not so viable to be climbing here anymore. It's gotten a lot colder. There's a little snow dusting on the rocks. It's not so pleasant on the fingers. It's not quite cold enough, and there's not quite enough ice for ice climbing yet. So it's a great time to go explore other avenues and different areas and go climb somewhere else for a bit.
Right on.
Yeah, that's exciting. Greece. Wow. Yeah. Go climb. Go off. Why not? Yeah. Right? Like, do you have any other, because I don't know maybe what you've climbed thus far, but do you have any other like bucket lists that you're looking to maybe try to accomplish?
In terms of climbing, you mean, specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely South Africa has been top of my list for a decade now. That is definitely the highest appeal. There's this area called Waterfall Boven, and I definitely probably butchered how to say that. But yes, it has this immense waterfall in the photographs, and you get to climb these like red cliff faces beside it, and it just looks absolutely strikingly gorgeous. I can't wait to go there one day.
Yeah, that's super, super like aesthetically beautiful sounding. Even I'm going to go look it up after this because I just need to know. I'll likely never climb it, but I'll go look at it on TikTok.
Yeah, maybe you could just go hike there. There's always more than one thing to do in places, right?
Yeah, and maybe, like platforms are always showing you more of what you're seeing. And I remember after our first show that we did talking about the film festival, I was starting to get a bunch of climbing and slacklining ads and like videos. And for some reason it started showing me like Jared Leto, like climbing all the time. And I'm like, I didn't subscribe to this, but like, it's cool.
It's happening. Yeah.
Did you guys see when he climbed the Empire State Building last week?
I saw something about that come up.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was only like a piece of it. It looked like it was the whole thing, but apparently it was only a piece, and it was how they did their like album announcement or something.
Okay.
But I always see his climbing videos, and I was wondering what you guys think about, you know, celebrity climbing or like influencers that are doing it, or do you feel that it takes away from, you know, maybe some of the opportunities that you have, or?
I don't know about you, Brooke, but I would start by saying that anybody who wants to get out and climb in whatever way is fantastic, because it's a phenomenal sport. I think the celebrity aspect, like, it does get used for shock value a lot, like to pull in an audience and bring in a hook, and you know, if that's why you're using it, that's kind of up to you. And I think some climbers critique that a little bit, but in my perspective, if you're doing it and enjoying it, then that's great, as long as you're, you know, being safe about it and like promoting safe practices in climbing.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think, Brooke?
Yes, I would agree with Carlie. I was going to say that climbing has a very individual piece to it. Mm-hmm. So it's whatever you make of it, or whatever it needs to be for you, that can be climbing. It doesn't have to be what I thrive on. It can, if someone wants to climb the Empire State Building with 18 cameras pointed towards them, and that's what climbing is to them, that makes them happy, like, perfect. And for some of us, it's more just doing something for yourself that no one's there to watch or document. There are many different avenues to appreciate climbing. I think there's just this primordial aspect to it that brings us back to fundamentally where we came from, and who, like, an ability to connect with who we are that way, that kind of, that appeals to many. Right. So it's kind of neat that way as a sport.
And do you have any question for the both of you? Obviously, there's a pretty great community of people. I know, Carlie, you've spoke to it before, and it's great. I think I even seen at one point when we were in a room looking at films, I think you guys were going to go out all together. Like, it was just like, oh, you're going? Okay, let's go. Do you have any advice for maybe people who are a little bit maybe hesitant to get out, or maybe they feel like maybe they don't have the right things or the right ropes, and maybe they're feeling a bit of an imposter in the community? Do you have any advice for whether it be men, women, kids getting back out into climbing, or just, just an easier way of maybe getting out and finding community?
Well, I think there's so many excellent indoor climbing opportunities these days. It's growing immensely in popularity. So there's climbing gyms popping up all over the place. And I mean, that's really accessible for the most part. I mean, for sure, I'm certain people would have greater limitations than others. I can't begin to speak on everyone's life situation, but for sure, it's an excellent opportunity to just show up, rent a pair of shoes, try it out, see if you like it, and then once you're in those environments and you start meeting people, you can make connections and you can network. Because climbing outdoors is it's a bigger undertaking, and you have to know a little more safety-wise. So you want to sort of find someone that has a little bit of experience, or at least take a course or something. You don't want to just show up with a rope outside and hang off of a cliff for the first time, right?
Absolutely. So that's fair.
There's a little
that's fair.
There's a little bit more research involved and planning, but going indoors into those climbing environments and meeting people, making connections, that's a great way to start and make it happen.
100%. Yeah, I can kind of speak to that on how I got into climbing. I started in the university climbing gym in Fredericton. It's kind of built out of two old converted squash courts. So it's this kind of like hole in the wall space that's pretty magical and has taught a lot of people how to climb. It's wild. And showing up there, I didn't know anybody. I just knew that I had tried this climbing thing and I loved it. Yeah. And, about 3 weeks in, I was thinking, okay, this is amazing. I'm going to stick to this and start trying to make friends. And I introduced myself to a couple people who, to this day, I think they were some of the best people to have met at the time, who had, a number of years of climbing experience, both indoors and out. Yeah. And they were able to kind of take me under their wing, take me outside climbing. And that's really rare to find, to be able to find someone right away who, one, has the experience and the safety knowledge for climbing right away, and two, to be willing to take you out, because that is kind of a risk that they undertake by doing that. So to find a course from someone who is educated and has that knowledge is the best thing. But when you make those connections, it helps.
Yeah, I think that's super important. And like getting really out into all the variables of what you might run into will give you a really great way of validating if you want to invest in better gear, better. And I've had that when I was learning to roller skate and coaching roller skating. It's like, nice. If I'd find anybody that would buy the really cheap stuff. It was very like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like it. So if I don't, it's not a big investment, but usually they would find right away that they would struggle with maybe some of the stuff that they had, or the feeling of the skate being too tight or not tight enough. And they weren't actually able to excel and see what they were able to do in the sport if they didn't have proper gear. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think that when you get a chance to find a really nice space and you have people willing to show you, hey, like this is some of the best practices that I know. Sometimes that rock might be really slippery. Sometimes it's not. Like things like that are really important to know, because that really makes you decide to get up in whatever part of the day and go out and do that. Yeah. Or to strap your skates on, right? So I think it's important to kind of have a really immersive experience when you're trying something, and to try to find the people that do it better than you. And if you can kind of surround yourself, whether it be in business or around your hobbies, with the people that are doing it better than you, they're usually pretty apt to share, because they want people around them too that are excited, but that are doing it right. You know?
Yeah, that are doing it safely too.
Exactly. That's a huge part. It doesn't matter if the, gear looks really cool or whatever. It's like, will it protect you? Mm-hmm. Is it going to give you what you need when you're out in the elements? And, I think that that's a big, big part. Brooke, tell us a little bit about your filmmaking experience. That's something I'm really, really intrigued about as well. I mean, it seems like you do it all, but now I'm just like the type of footage that you must get is just must be like insane.
I have a diverse array of interests. Yes. That's for sure. And most of them are outdoor related. So that I guess would be the common link through it all. But yeah, I've been interested in photography ever since I was 4 years old. So I've always had an eye for representing things and capturing images with an artistic lens. And then I got into videography actually during the pandemic, because I was looking, with not being able to leave New Brunswick and then know for sure that I could return again. I was looking for a career change, and for the first time really reconsidering flying and going out west and coming back for work. And so I actually enrolled in Toronto Film School's online video production program, and I never did complete that diploma, but I did 3 semesters of it and learned a lot, and learned some things that I took with me, I want to say for life, but we'll see. But I'm still using today. I can say that, because I definitely have a crazy passion for videography and capturing these things that bring me so much joy and trying to share them with others.
And I think you have a little bit of a competitive edge too, because I mean, your job really is such a, intense environment that when you are, trying to be creative, like you said, you could be showing a variety of things, but you kind of have a tasteful way of showcasing them. And I think that that's important. And also same with like on the adventure side, I think it's important to be, classy and tasteful when it comes to it. I know in marketing, that's something that I try to do for our company, is just, sometimes it doesn't always bring a good feeling when you're putting out street photography, maybe with people in them, and it's not always the great sentiment. It might be a great photo, but sometimes it doesn't resonate with people, and it's important to kind of have both. So obviously from that course, I mean, you've learned a lot, and submitting your films, to the festival and things like that. I think that that's so cool. But I would be so curious to see like more of your portfolio, because I think your lens and your eye would be a very cool thing to kind of get more into. I sound so cheesy saying that, but I do mean it. I think it's really cool when people have a different sense of vision in their work, but also like you're an adrenaline like charged human being, it seems. So I can't imagine that your photos are at all boring in any way, right? It could be an aerial footage of something and it's still something no one's ever seen from that view before. So I think that that's pretty cool.
Well, I think that's actually what kind of led me into the videography piece is because as much as I love photography, I just always felt like the photographs I was taking, they were falling short of what I was actually seeing in real life.
Yeah.
And I love the storytelling component that comes with an actual moving medium. So I find videography, it's just easier to actually portray what you are seeing and what you're experiencing and sharing that feeling with someone than just a still image. I think you have to actually be a lot more talented to be able to capture a still image and portray that kind of emotion. So I'm taking the easy way out.
I wouldn't call it easy.
More towards the photography.
Yeah. You know, I don't hold your perspective 100% because I wouldn't call it easy what you're doing. Can you tell us a little bit about the film that you submitted to OOFF back in 2022? It's called Moments in Time, is it?
Moments frozen in time.
Moments
certainly.
I can. Yes.
I can touch on that for sure. That one was kind of interesting. So that was actually for an assignment in school. Okay. I think it was maybe not the first, but maybe the second film I ever put together. I think I had to do like a quick, maybe 10-second film before that, but this was like a 2-minute short that I put together. And the assignment was entitled Important Things. So we had to make a short about important things to us. And this was like in the heat of the pandemic, when COVID was going rampant and there were all of these rules about not seeing friends and not seeing family, and we couldn't attend concerts or celebrate weddings or birthdays together. There were so many limitations, and there was just so much fear and doom and gloom in the world. And when I was thinking about what was important to me, and I was also spending time in the woods in New Brunswick, and like New Brunswick is such a vast, diverse place. Like it has such a vast and diverse, expansive nature. We're so fortunate here, and I think the world is kind of starting to realize that now. But it was kind of this like hidden gem for quite some time, and I was spending so much time in the woods and walking the dog and still climbing and still going to see waterfalls and heading to the coast and watching the waves crash against the rocks and watching the tides come in and out, and that was really, really grounding to me, and just a sense of, okay, life is still happening even though it feels like everything is coming to a halt and everything's crashing down. And so when I thought of what was important to me, nature was this really powerful aspect of that. And I kind of realized that like nature is healing and nature is non-judgmental, and she kind of just accepts you for who you are. When neighbors were like donning masks and crossing the street to avoid walking on the same sidewalk as you, and I would always joke that I would tell Carlie, I would say, I think people have the wrong idea, and they think that if you smile at someone, you might catch COVID. But I don't think it's ever been proven that you can catch COVID from a smile. But everyone was just in such a place of fear. And then whenever I would go into the woods, I just felt like I escaped all of that, and there was this little piece of normalcy again. And so what the film turned into was not only like my experience of nature, what's important to me, and all of these beautiful places and things I love, but also how important it is to everyone. And I was sort of encouraging everyone to get out in nature and feel the rawness of it and feel alive again. And that's kind of how the film
Well, and that's what it's all
came
about,
to be.
right? Is like get out there and feel it again. Yeah. And I appreciate you, telling us about that, because I think it's, regardless, even if things have changed now at the end of 2023, I think it's a really important reminder still, because I think sometimes maybe we've taken advantage of being able to get back and get out, and maybe we're getting complacent with being back, and being able to being allowed to do those things. And now's the kick in the pants to like get out and do it. Right. Time goes by really quick. So, and thank you so much, Brooke, for joining us today to talk about, your work, your passion, your film. I'm really excited to, learn more about you as we go on. I'm really excited for the upcoming Imperial Theatre viewing. I'm excited for that. Are you going to be there, Brooke? Are you coming?
I will not be there, sadly.
In spirit.
Are you talking about the Banff one?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm probably going to be for that one.
Well,
I thought you meant the one, the OOFF one in June. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in January.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Carlie, for joining me this morning. And to all of you listening and watching, thank you, Brooke, for joining. Everybody, hopefully you enjoyed this interview. We're really excited to be, getting out and getting outside. And look, a little bit of snow happening. Great way to get outside, maybe do some shoveling, do whatever you got to do, right? And thanks again.
Christmas festive spirit.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, Brooke, for joining us. Thank you again, Carlie, for being on the show today. So excited.
For having us.
And I'll see you guys in January, it looks like. Have a little party at the Imperial Theatre.
January 18th.
Okay, let me know what the dress code is, okay?
I will.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.